Welcome, my darling pretties, to our Beyond the Dawn of Business podcast for pretty empowered female entrepreneurs. It's time to step into your power, pretties. Lift each other, support the squad, and choose a life filled with the autonomy and freedom to live your dreams. I'm your host, Dawn Beth, owner and founder of Beyond the Dawn digital business brand and agency. My coffee is hot and my eyelashes are on, so we are ready to go. Hi, and welcome to this episode. Today, I want to talk to you about something that really is probably already on your mind at this point of the year, which is your strategy and planning for 2024. I know that we are only in the third quarter of the year, but we're rapidly moving into one of the most significant points for consumerism, for buying behaviours, and for the things that we collectively do culturally across the world when it comes to sales and marketing for each annum. So you might not be a business that cares too much about Christmas. Yes, I did just say the C word. I'm sorry. You may not be thinking about your Black Friday offer, although if you haven't, you should be. Or you might not even be the type of business that has to worry about those things. But you do need to be aware that there are massive consumer behaviors that are about to kick in for all of us, regardless of whether you believe that that's something that your business is requiring or whether it's something you think you can leave on the cutting room floor. Now, you might think that this episode is all about the Christmas consumerism. It's all about Black Friday or Cyber Monday or what happens at the beginning of New Year. And it kind of is, but in the most dawny way possible, we're going to reverse engineer what you need to be thinking about right now by thinking about something that is slightly more further on in the scope. And what is more further on in the scope than next year's strategy? Now, for many businesses, this will already be boxed off and signed off. And if you're one of those businesses and you're sat thinking, well, Dawny, I already know what I'm doing in 2024. I've already got it mapped out. I have my launches, I have all of my situations completely sorted, and I don't need to worry about a thing, then that's really wonderful. There are going to be a lot of people who aren't in that position and perhaps didn't even realize that this is early enough to be thinking about it, or that you should be thinking about it, or at least be signing things off for this year at this point. So if you're sat with this and you're thinking, I've got no idea what I'm doing in the next 24 hours, never mind into 2024, then this is your loving invitation to consider it. To consider that the products that you have, the launches that you want to do, the things that you want to create for yourself in 2024, these don't have to be business goals solely. They can definitely be whole life, whole person goals as well. In fact, whenever I go through an annual strategy or I start to look at mapping out launches with my clients, one of the first things that we do is we actually mark out all of the personal stuff before we look at business. Because so many of us create businesses so that we actually can put our personal life, our families, our friends, important events, joyful moments, and reasons for living ahead of the grind, ahead of the hustle. And it's all well and good saying that we want to reduce hustle and there is an easier way and you can sit back and relax and still make money. And those things are true, but often those things require some actions and some things that needed to have been done ahead of time. You do need to put work into it to get something out of it. It doesn't just come completely from nowhere. You can manifest amazing things and you can attract amazing opportunities and abundance, absolutely. But you still have to do the things to make yourself that energetic center to be able to attract those things. So no matter whether it is energetically or whether it's real tangible action, you do need to do some stuff. So maybe think about that. Maybe think about your personal life in 2024, like where you live, what kind of things things you want to do with your personal time, if you have any special events that are important for yourself or your loved ones. Are there things that you didn't get done this year that you'd like to do? Perhaps you love to travel and this year it just wasn't on the cards. So next year you want to make it a priority. Perhaps you want to do a new hobby or to visit some place that will soothe your soul or see people that you didn't manage to see this year or any of those types of things. Think about them first. Think about where they fit in and, make this an admin task. Make it really easy. Get yourself a diary or a calendar or a planner of some sort and mark out some time that is sacred personal time. If you've got a friend's 40th birthday or 60th birthday, or you've got something going on where you're actually, doing something with your family or your children, or even if you've already committed to something wonderful in your business, lay it all down, get it down, and then see what negative or white space you have available left for you to consider planning out the rest of 2024. Why is this so important? Why should we be doing this? Why is this something that I'm telling you to do now rather than in January? Well, first and foremost, I'll tell you again in January because there will be people who listen to this and go, "Oh, Talia, it's a great idea. I'm going to go and do that. Let me make a brew and get a pen, and then it will go off the boil." And we'll be having this same conversation in January. And that's not just pretties that are just listeners or people who are in the free group. Like bona fide clients that have been working with me for years still occasionally do this because we're all human, we're all flawed. Things get in the way, we're busy, and it happens. So, don't give yourself a hard time. Just recognize what you need to shift in your priorities to get back on track. But essentially, the reason why this is the perfect moment is because if you have a rough understanding, and remember, you have complete autonomy over your own business world. So you can change anything that you put down on paper right now. You don't have to stick by it. You have the opportunity to make changes as you need to. You can fly by the seat of your pants. You can wing it a bit more if you like to be a bit more free with your autonomy. But at the same time, you can give yourself a really good, clear view of what it is that you're going to be focusing on and concentrating on next year, which can actually inform what your priorities are in December, November, October this year. Okay. You still have a full quarter to put things in place. This is why this conversation is happening now, why I'm marking it and sticking a pin in this year's calendar in the hope that it makes next year's calendar for you slightly less stressful, slightly less worrisome, with more clarity, and with you having the opportunity to truly see what you have on the table in terms of opportunities. Now, there's always going to be opportunities that we can't foresee right now. So when you're planning, that's all you're actually doing. You're just creating an opportunity for you to plan to have what it is that you want to put out there in 2024. If it bleeds into 2025, let it. It's never a bad thing to look a little bit more in the future. Remember, the further in the future you go with your goals and aspirations, the easier it is to reverse engineer it and find out when those priorities need to kick in. For instance, when I decided that I was going to write my book, I did so in April. I should have started writing that book straight away. We all know that I didn't do that. I wrote the book in 12 days. It was ridiculous. Don't do as I do. Do as I lovingly suggest and tell you, because I promise you your life will be easier if you do it that way. If you're multi-passionate or ADHD while you're listening to this, I know you will be giggling with me and being like, yeah, okay, Dawn, good luck. And you will have your own means of doing that thing, your own means of doing those things and figuring out how you complete tasks. Maybe procrastination is something that you need because it allows you to then have that urgent deadline that puts you into hyper focus and gets you going, turns you into a super genius for 12 hours. I get it. Like, it happens. But depending on how you work, even this exercise, as loosely as you may need it to be for you to understand it and be capable of executing the task, is still really great practice. It's really fantastic to look in with that foresight and to have a good understanding of what it is that you actually want to achieve. Now, with that said, I do want to remind you that, of course, there will be so many yet. So the flexibility, like we say, has to be there. If you want to give yourself full weeks of complete emptiness, and that's a conscious choice, then allow yourself to do that. That is totally within your control, and it is totally fine for you to do. There is no specific way of doing this that will work for every single person. Some people need it to be visually, some people need it in a spreadsheet. You might just want to grab a piece of paper and a pen. It actually doesn't matter as long as it works for you. No two people have the same perception of the way their systems within their business actually work. We're all completely unique. There are key things that can be helpful for all of us. Those tools can be tapped into, but then they're never going to be the exact same for each one of us. So, without further ado, this is my loving invitation to you to go and sort out your planning for 2024. If you know already what you're going to be doing, drop it in the free group. I'd love to know what your plans are for next year. I'm excited to see what you guys have got going on. There's so many amazing things in the frameworks right now, and so many of our clients have been giving us little insights into the things that they are working on and bringing out. And I really do think that it's going to be a fantastic year. And I'm not wishing away the last 3 months of this one, but I really do think that it's going to be a bit fantastic for so many of us. So do let us know in the free group what you're up to. And until next time, I will see you then.
If you're loving our Pretty podcast, come on over to Social Pretties, our online safe house and sisterhood community. It's a safe space where female entrepreneurs connect and thrive in a warm, welcoming fold of pretty amazing women. You'll find an easy redirect in the description, and I can't wait to see you in there. And depending on where you're listening right now, we would love it if you would click subscribe or follow so that you can be the first to know when our new podcasts come out.